しい中お集まりいただきまして誠にありがとうございます。ただいまより Tinder 主催2019年 Tinder 日本市場におけるブランド方針発表メディアセミナーを開催させていただきます。開会に先立ちまして本日のプログラムを簡単にご案内させていただきます。まずはじめに Tinder の CEO エリー・セイトマンより主催者挨拶および Tinder のグローバル展開に関する振り返りや日本市場のポテンシャルについてお話しさせていただきます。その後は日本におけます Tinder のマーケティング担当藤目弘子より日本のミレニアル世代の現状と Tinder との親和性についてご紹介させていただきます。短い時間ではございますが、どうぞ最後までお付き合いください。申し遅れました。本日の司会進行を務めさせていただきます川村彩と申します。よろしくお願いいたします。それではまずはじめに Tinder CEO エリー・セイドマンより皆様にご挨拶させていただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。
Hello, pleasure to be here. I'm the CEO of Tinder. We're based in Los Angeles, California, with an office in Silicon Valley. And we have several hundred people around the world. And in California, we're working on what's a really fascinating problem. I'd like to tell people that, I get to work here on a problem with modern technology, but an age-old problem. A problem that I think is as old as humankind. It's a problem that I think every single person here will be able to easily relate to. And in a more than 20-year career as a CEO and entrepreneur, it's really by far the most fascinating experience I've had because we get to use technology, and I've been a tech entrepreneur now for a long time, and we get to work on problems that are so incredibly important to people. So I'd love to tell you a little about the history of Tinder. And to do that, I'll tell you a short story. Maybe imagine you're 200 years ago, and you live in a small town, and you know everybody in that small town. And you're interested in meeting somebody new, form a friendship, a relationship, a connection, have a better, richer, deeper experience of life. So what do? Well, you probably hopefully have a friend who knows somebody in the next town. Maybe that next town is 20 kilometers. And you ask them, hey, can you introduce us? Can you find me new people to meet? And I like to think that we are the modern version of that very old friend. 200 years ago, we would have been that friend. So today, right, we use all kinds of tools to solve the problem of meeting new people. Very often that's a mother, or an aunt, or a college friend, or a party. That's how we meet new people, right? And that's considered extremely easy and natural. It comes very organically. And so imagine yourself at a party where you go with some friends, and you see somebody across the room, and they see you, and you both realize kind of in an instant that this could be interesting. You'd like to get to know this person. I think of that click, that chemistry, that what we call that Tinder, as this very basic and simple idea makes us people. I'll give you the other side. Somebody introduces you and sets you up on a blind date. And you go to a coffee shop and you meet that person there. And a minute into it, you realize this has no potential. This is not going to work. It doesn't take 30 minutes or an hour. You just kind of know very quickly. Easy to relate to these two experiences. And the insight that really is behind Tinder and that has made it such a global success now, and I'll tell you more about that, is that you can capture some of that very simple idea in a product, in a technical product, in an app that is the host to a community of people who want to meet other people. So I think to really understand this, it's helpful to go back to the time we time travel back to when we were launching in 2012. In 2012, we were launching on college campuses. We had that insight that I referenced about that clip. 2012 had really three major things going on in millennial culture. Right? One was what I would call experience culture. Food, travel, new things, new adventures. Those were extremely important. Maybe in a lot of ways more important than new things were these new experiences. Number two, of course, were these things, right? These had become extremely, extremely popular. And we were using these to solve all kinds of problems. You know, I remember when I graduated from college, I carried around a bag of paper maps. Not that long ago, right? It was the late 90s, the internet bubble, and I'm carrying around a bag of paper maps to find my way around New York City. And so now it's 2012 and I'm using this. And I'm using this to message, right? No more letters, I'm messaging, I'm emailing. I'm using this for reading my books, certainly listening to music. I wasn't carrying around a bag of CDs. And yet we weren't really using this at all to solve the problem of meeting new people. And simultaneously, we were getting more and more captivated by these devices, so they were pulling in more and more of our attention. And it's not like people hadn't tried before to have the use of technology, computers, to help you meet new people. And yet in 2012, really, among millennials, it's extremely uncommon. It's not 0%, but it's very, very close to it, of young people saying, hey, I'm going to use technology at any time, even though there were people who were trying to work on that problem. There were products. The products often felt like going on a job interview. They felt like work. They lost all of that kind of passion, all of that energy, all of that excitement. So nobody wants to go on a job interview and meet new people. That's not any fun. So let me show you how it works. So you have a sense of, for those of you who haven't used it, I'll talk you through how we actually did this, how we took that insight, that we can use a smartphone and an app that hosts a community to really represent, to emulate, to be like the real world, to have that clip that you have in the real world. So the way it works, you go to the App Store, either Apple's App Store or the Android App Store, you download the app. And you come into the app and we ask you a few questions about yourself, but really just a few. And they're meant for you to present your authentic self. What are your interests? How are you different? How are you special? Right? We like to say, you are good enough. So we want you to show that. We want you to tell the story of you. Maybe it's a photo of yourself at a music festival in your festival outfit. Maybe it's a selfie of yourself at a coffee shop that you really love. So you do that, and now you're in the app, and we ask you next, tell us where you are. We're a location-based app, so we ask you to tell us where you are. And we ask you to tell us how far away from you want to see people to meet. And now you're in the left-hand side there of the experience, and you're looking at other people in the community on Tinder, and you get to see them, and you see a few photos of them. It's the story of them, the same way we told the story of you. If you're interested, you swipe right. We invented that gesture, which has become, in the world of smartphones, extraordinarily important. And it's a very, very simple idea, but it's a really, really important one because it's fun. It takes something which is very simple. Remember that party you went to, right? You see somebody across the room. We want the virtual version of that to be simple. We want it to be fun. So you swipe right. And if you're not interested, you swipe left. And we took something that had always felt like homework or like a job interview, and we made it elegant and fun. Really important. While you're doing this, we're showing you so powerful. There's an easy experience that you probably have every single day, which reminds you of what it's like when you get interest that you don't really want. Spam. Somebody sends you an email, you don't want it, spam isn't that interesting. And so this idea which we invented, this second one, this mutual interest, is extremely important to Tinder and is a really powerful and fundamental breakthrough. So once you're there, you go to the second one and now you can chat with each other. And now it's like the real world, right? You're having a conversation with somebody. People often ask us, what should I say? What we say is, definitely don't say the word in English, hey, because what can they respond with? Hey usually leads to another hey. It's better to show some of yourself or comment about something that you find interesting in them. Oh, is that music festival? Oh, is that coffee shop? Again, it's all about your true self. So, in a few short years, that's really very, very recently, right? That's 2012. In a few short years, starting on college campuses in the United States, it goes globally to 100+ countries, thousands of cities. More than 300 million people have downloaded this product. Literally today, right now, in Tokyo, in New York, in Los Angeles, in Paris, in London, in Buenos Aires, tens of millions of people are going to log into this app and use it to find new people, to make relationships, friendships, have new experiences, share common interests. Just like that, it changed the world in 6 short years. What's really important is that there is no one Tinder. This product has adapted to all these different cities and different cultures. 18-year-olds on a college campus in the United States couldn't be more different than 25-year-olds in Paris or in Berlin. They're in completely different life stages, but this product, which has been so adaptive, the reason for that is because it gets to that very essential thing, which is common between people. And it then becomes an extraordinarily important part of popular culture. It's not just a technical tool, but it's actually something that we're using and experiencing this community of people in our real lives, in our daily lives. And so you see it being referenced in movies, in books. I was watching the NBA All-Star Game, the basketball All-Star Game, and I see the announcer talking about somebody who is shooting three-point shots. And he's shooting, and the guy says, oh look, right swipe, right swipe, right swipe, every time he makes one. The right swipe became a word, a term that we think of as like success, excitement, fun. So, not only has it become an important part of popular culture, it's also in that same time become an extraordinarily important and successful business. And the reason for it is we're providing a value. Tinder, the app, and the community that it hosts provides an extraordinarily important value for people in a really important part of their lives. We have now, 2018, more than $800 million of revenue, up approximately 100% over the year before. And we have now more than 4.1 million paying subscribers. They're paying us for special features that help make their experience on Tinder better, easier. Most people use Tinder entirely for free, but a small percentage pay us for some of these additional features that make their experience on Tinder more effective. And finally, in conclusion, we're extraordinarily excited for Japan. We're excited because it's a very important market for us. It's a market that's grown really, really rapidly for us over the past few years, and we see the community growing. More and more people, more and more connections, more and more friendships and relationships. And we're also extremely excited about it because of the influence it has. I was telling our team here that we have 3 people at the office that I work with very, very closely, and each of them is a Japan lover. extremely important, not just here, but more broadly. And so it's a really a market we're extremely excited about. We're excited about it in general, but leading into the Olympics next year. The Olympics was actually an extremely important early moment for Tinder. In Sochi Olympics, athletes and people who were visiting started using Tinder to make their experience better. And it became at that point kind of an early moment of excitement and fun, and an early important moment for Tinder, and part of what led to this global growth. So thank you very much. And with that, I'll hand it over.
それでは続きまして、Tinderの日本におけますマーケティング担当の内村ひろ子より、Tinderの日本文化におけますミレニアル世代への可能性や今後の展開についてご紹介させていただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。
よろしくお願いいたします。Tinderのくじめでございます。今日はお集まりいただきましてどうもありがとうございます。で、私の方からお話しさせていただく内容なんですが、まずTinderっていうブランドと日本人のミレニアル層の親和性っていうところと今年のプランについてお話しさせていただきます。よろしくお願いいたします。はい、まずエリーからも少しお話しさせていただいたんですが、日本イコールすごい重要なマーケットっていうふうに弊社の中では見ているんですが、その理由なんですが、まず一つにユーザーにあります。ユーザーの成長率っていうところは実は世界的に見てもトップクラスにあるんですね。でもう一つがユーザーの大半、日本でも実は大半がミレニアル層になっております。で皆さんご存知の通り、こういったマッチングアプリですとかテックカンパニーが皆さん自分たちのユーザーは大半がミレニアルなんですって言いたがられると思うんですが、Tinder の今の既存のユーザーの大体何%ぐらいがミレニアルだと思われますか？全然外れても大丈夫なので。
8割。
正解です。そうだよ。プリントアウトしてます。そう、正解です。実はですね、80% の今の既存のユーザーがミレニアル世代であるっていうところがあるんですね。で、本当にユーザーの皆さんはミレニアル世代といいますと、経済的にも文化的にも非常に影響力のある世代ということと、あと成長率というこの2つの軸から弊社としては日本は非常に重要に期待も非常に高い期待を持っているというところが今の現状になります。で、Tinder のプロダクトの話をエリーからさせていただいているんですが、多分皆さんご存知の通りTinder というのは本当に GPS ベースで皆さんが今いらっしゃるこの場所を中心にスワイプしていただいてマッチをするという非常に内容がシンプルなものになっております。で、逆に言うとだからこそ結構その各国での使い方っていうのに特徴が出やすいっていうところも Tinder の非常に面白いところになってます。で、特に面白いのが実は日本のミレニアルの人たちの使い方なんですね。こちらのミレニアルの方々の使われている姿勢っていうところを言葉で直したところ、等身大っていうところとリアリティを求めるっていうところにあります。こちら量はですね、等身大で自分のことを相手に伝えるっていうこの姿勢とコミュニケーションに対してあくまでもフェイクじゃなくてリアリティを求めるっていうその2つにあります。で、この等身大っていうところとリアリティを求めるっていうところの2つを軸にしてTinder の日本の皆さんがどういうふうに使われているのかっていうところを具体例3点をもとにお話をさせていただきます。まずTinder をいつ使っているのかっていうところなんですが、もう Tinder の使い方っていうのは実はですね、ながら使いなんですね。特にどういうふうに使われているかっていうと、本当にソーシャルアプリと非常に似ています。で、シーン別で言いますと一番使われているのって実は家でくつろいでる時、要は最も家でリラックスしてもう家でも部屋着を着てリラックスしている時に、例えばテレビを見ながら Tinder をやったりとかっていうような使われ方をしています。なので少し先ほどご質問もいただいているんですが、実はアクティブユーザーが一番伸びる時、 要は一番マッチングしやすい時っていうのは日曜日の10時になります。なので皆さん今週日曜日の10時にはぜひ皆さんダウンロードしていただきましてスワイプしていただけるといつも以上にマッチをするかと思いますので、ぜひお試しいただければと思います。で続きましてプレミアム機能にはなるんですが、パスポートっていう機能のご紹介をさせていただきます。これはですね、Tinder っていうプロダクトは通常はこの GPS ベースで今いる場所をもとにスワイプしてマッチするっていうものなんですが、このプレミアム機能であるパスポートっていうものを使うと自分のいてる場所を世界中のどこの街にでも変えることができるんですね。でこれがすごくユニークなものになっておりまして、これ日本のユーザーの方が国内でパスポートを使った時にどこがデスティネーションになっているかトップ5と、この下の方が海外での行き先のデスティネーションのトップ5になります。でまず上の国内の方なんですが、これはどういうふうに使っているかっていうと、これも完全に日常使いなんですね。何をしているかと言いますと、例えば東京に住んでいる人が渋谷に行く前とか新宿に行く前にそこにいる人と事前にマッチをするですとか、東京の人が大阪に行ったり、東京の人が京都に行ったり、京都の人が東京に行ったりするときに使われているっていう、本当にデイリーライフのように使っていただいております。で面白いところは海外なんですが、これは上から、若いミレニアルの方々は本当に韓国行くのが大好きなソウル、バンコクからアメリカの弊社の HQ があるのロサンゼルス、ニューヨーク、台北というふうになっているんですが、使い方の非常に面白いところ、このミレニアルの方々っていうのはあくまでもリアルを求めているっていうところがあるので、例えば旅行にソウルに行く前に東京にいながらパスポートを使って居場所をソウルに変えるんですね。で何をするかというと、現地に行った時にその地元の人と一緒に地元の人が行くようなレストランに行ったりカフェに行ったり地元の人のイベントに行ったり、要はポイントとしてあるのはガイドブックに載っているような観光スポットに行くんではなく、あくまでもリアリティに基づいて現地の人たちがどういうふうな生活をしているのかっていうのを味わうことを可能にしているのが Tinder になります。で最後なんですが、これはですね、バイオ、要はプロフィールの書き方ですね。実はここが一番国民性が出やすいところになっているんですが、これはですね、アメリカ人のユーザーと日本人のユーザーが要はバイオでどういうふうなキーワードを使っているのかっていうところと比較になるんですが、まずはじめにアメリカ人にとってTinder っていうのはもう本当に生活のうちの一部とは言い過ぎかもしれないですが、本当に慣れているんですね。なので内容がすごいフレンドリーでフランクで自分のなんていうんでしょう、紹介の仕方すごい熟知しているなっていうところが見られるんですが、日本人の書き方すごい弊社内でも結構シェアして面白いなっていうふうに思っているんですけど、まずミレニアルの皆さんってやっぱりなんていうんでしょう、ソーシャルステータスである社会人だったりとか学生であったりとか、あとは興味関心事である美味しいものが好きとか猫が好きっていうところがあるんですけど、弊社の中でめちゃくちゃ面白いなと思ったのが、シャイって自分のことを言うのがめちゃくちゃトップに上がってきてるんですね。これ世界的に言うとめちゃくちゃ稀なことなので、次に例えば自分のことをオタクって言ったりとか、これが上位に上がってくるという非常に面白いことができてます。でここの本当に素晴らしいなと思っているのがこの日本人ユーザーの人たちって完全に自分のことをもう消費せずにあくまでも等身大で伝える。で受け止める相手っていうのもそういう等身大の姿勢というのを受け入れる体制があるっていうところが非常に素晴らしいなというふうに思ってます。でここの部分なんですが、弊社の方では実はこの等身大とかリアリティを求める姿勢っていうのは弊社の Tinder ブランドのアイデンティティであるインクルーシビティとオープンマインドです。要はこれ直訳しますと公平性と包括性っていうところにつながります。で本当にここの部分ですね、コアの部分っていうところが日本人の皆さんのユーザーが本当に自然に使っていただいているところがブランドのアイデンティティと直結しているっていうふうに素晴らしいなというふうに見ております。で次はちょっとグローバルな話になるんですが、このインクルーシビティとオープンマインドネスっていうところを軸にどういうふうなグローバル展開をしているかといいますと、 まず人種ですね。Tinder っていうマッチングアプリは他とは全然違うところっていうのは、あえて文化的背景とか、人種っていうのを選べないようになってます。で、ここのポイントとしてあるのが、例えばこの自分のコンフォートゾーンの外の人、自分とはバックグラウンドが全然違う人と出会うことによって自分の視野が広がったりとか、相手の世界観が広がったりとかっていうのを可能にしているアプリになります。で、次に面白いのがこのジェンダーの多様性ですね。ジェンダーのこのプロダクトは実は残念ながらまだ日本にはローンチしていないものになるんですが、Tinder の面白いところで2016年にモアジェンダーっていう機能をリリースをいたしまして、現時点では世界中では4カ国で展開をしております。で、これが何ができるかといいますと、通常のマッチングアプリだと自分の性別を選ぶときって男性か女性の2択になっていると思うんですね。だけどこのモアジェンダーっていう機能は男性、女性の次にモアっていう選ぶ箇所がありまして、そこをクリックしていただけると、まずは自由に書き込めるようになっているんですね。それと同時にアメリカでは37パターンのジェンダーを選べるようになっております。この数っていうのは各国違うものになっているんですが、特に重要なポイントとしてあるのがジェンダーの多様性っていうところはもちろん日本でも注目されている問題かと思うんですが、 Tinder っていうプラットフォームはこのジェンダーの多様性っていうところを自由に表現できるプラットフォームになっております。で、最後に今年のプランっていうところをお話しさせていただきます。はい、2019年日本が注力市場ということで何をやっていくかと言いますと、日本人の皆さんがより安心して Tinder を楽しんでいただけるようなコミュニティ作りというところに注力をしていきたいと思っております。特にですね、弊社の方で注力しているのは、日本のミレニアルの女性の方がいかに安心して Tinder を楽しんでいろんな人に出会いを与えているかというところに注力をして、積極的にプロダクトのアップデートというところもしていきたいと思っておりまして、その第1弾としまして、この一番下にあります通り安全なコミュニティを提供するっていうところ、要はセキュリティシステムの強化っていうところに積極的に取り組んでいきたいなって思っております。本日はご清聴いただきましてありがとうございました。よろしくお願いいたします。
藤尾さんからは魅力あふれるお話を伺うことができました。それではここからは質疑応答のお時間とさせていただきたいと思います。質問につきましては Tinder の CEO エリー・セイドマン、そしてマーケティング担当の藤目ひろ子にてお答えさせていただきます。恐れ入りますが、ご質問のある方は挙手をお願いいたします。とても興味深いお話だと思いますので、この機会にぜひ皆さん、よろしくお願いします。
先ほどのプレゼンテーションの中で 80% のユーザーがミレニアル世代となったんですが、こちらは初めからそこをターゲットにして狙っていたものなのか、それとも結果としてそうなったのかっていうところを聞いてお伺いしたいのと、加えてですね、において、競合となるようなサービスとかは現状どこかあったりしますでしょうか。お願いします。
Okay. On the first one, remember what I was saying before, is the resonance of this is a light experience, it's a fun experience, and I think that it's because it's not work, because it doesn't feel like a job interview, because it can be a part of your regular social life. I think that's why we did so well with young people. So I think that's really where and of course, once it got going, it kind of became a social phenomenon. And as you had more and more people in the community, you had more and more reasons to go. You know, the best part of Tinder is actually not the software. The best part of Tinder is the people you can meet. And so as Tinder became more successful, there were just more and more options. It became more and more interesting. So kind of one thing led to another. First on U.S. college campuses back in 2012, then to cities, and then globally to those cities. On competition, we're really not focused on competition. We like to keep our eyes on our members. We're very fortunate that we have now tens of millions of members who are using the product every month, and they're our inspiration. You think about the first thing I said, the insights that led to the foundation of Tinder and to its great success didn't come from competitors. They came from members. They came from understanding people. And so we like to stay very focused there. I actually find that looking at competitors too much makes you think small, and it limits your creativity. So we find our creativity and our inspiration by talking to our members.
5年くらい私も Tinder 使ってるんですけど、昔海外にいた時にも使っていて、今日本に帰ってきても使ってるんですけど、これから先に日本独自でこういうなんか別のファンクションをつけたりとかっていう機能をつけたりっていうのをご検討されたりはして。
Yeah, we're not announcing anything today, but we're learning, and so we're thinking a lot about how do you make Tinder as an app more effective for each of the communities. And I think the area that we're very interested in and spending a lot of time looking at and thinking at is around self-expression. We find that if you look at what's happening and was referenced before here in Japan, we see people being their authentic selves and really wanting to express that, which we think is fantastic. I'm often asked, oh, you must be an expert on how to meet people in relationships, and you'll say, well, what should I do? What should I do on Tinder? What I always say is, be your best self, but be your true self. You don't want somebody to like you for the person you're not. You want them to like you for the person you are, and that person is good enough. And so we want to help people self-express and tell their best self. And we think that's very specific to each place of the world, to each culture, to each locale.
Business Insider の西山と申します。私、Tinder のユーザーです。ちょっと何点かお聞きしたいんですけど、まず、日本市場が世界で第2位のモバイル市場というふうに伺ったんですけれども、これはどういうその有料会員数が世界第2位という意味なのか、もうちょっと具体的に日本市場が第2位というところのご説明をいただきたいのと、あとそれに関係して日本市場のなんか特徴として日本ユーザーがやっぱりシャイな人とか等身大っていうのがありましたけれども、もうちょっと使い方としてアメリカのとか海外と違う使い方をされているってことがあればぜひお聞きしたいです。あともう一点あともう一点日本の女性がもうちょっとセキュリティシステムを構築して安全に使えるようにという話がありましたけれども、具体的にどのようなセキュリティシステムを考えているか、例えば通報ができるとか、なんか会話の時にもうちょっと会話をチェックするみたいな、そういう仕組みをできるのか、具体的に教えてください。
No particular order.
お二人みたいな。はい。
Yeah. So in terms of safety, it's something that we put a lot of effort into, not just in Japan, but globally. We're the host to a large community of tens of millions of members, and we take our responsibility to help very, very seriously. And so there's really three main things that we're doing. We have a large team of moderators who are moderating the community, number one. Number two is we're using a lot of artificial intelligence and machine learning to identify things that we think might be problematic and to be ahead of them. And the third is member reporting. The area we're specifically focused on that was referenced, that we're ready to talk about a little bit, is helping do a better job of photo verification. one of the things we often hear is, oh, the person is maybe a little bit like not as at how they looked. Maybe the photo is 5 years old. And so we think this is a broader issue that we can do more on. And so you'll see us do some work around helping verify photos. But we always say to people that Tinder is a large community, and it's not a parallel universe, right? It is a reflection of the real world. It's a community of people, it's made up of the people around you. It is the real world. And so the same way you do when you go to a coffee shop or a bar or a party, use the same thoughtfulness that you do in the real world. So that was the last one. What was the first one?
日本の市場の特徴と、あと日本の市場が第2位というところの具体的な説明を。
Oh, yeah. So the second largest market, we don't operate in China. So after the United States is our biggest market, certainly. Although today we are a very, very global business. Japan is the second largest market.
You mean the user numbers or?
No. Smartphone available market. Available market.
Okay.
Yes. And then in terms of user characteristics, I would just go back to what was said before, which is that we see actually a degree of kind of like honesty. I think the examples of shy or geek, these I think are perhaps more directed, more honest. I think that actually what we're seeing a little bit and we try to help people not do is what I would call, the kind of perfect life, presenting a perfect life. And I think what you're seeing in Japanese Tinder is in a lot of ways more authentic and better than what we sometimes see when people try to present their perfect life versus their real life. And again, I'd say the same thing. The real you is good enough. So, you don't need to put forward an alternate person. Maybe we'll take one more.
私のお時間ございますので、はい。
スモポリタン編集部の伊藤と申します。Tinder ではあえて、人種を超えたつながりを作るために文化的背景とかについてベラベラな意識されているって伺ったのですが、東京オリンピックに向けて人がどんどん東京に入ってくるとかも増えていくそうなんですけど、そこでやっぱり自分がマッチしたい人のスペックとかを比べると出会いたい人とマッチできる時間短縮にもつながると思うんですけれども、例えばこれから慎重に起きてられたり、例えば禁煙出演するかとかによって選ばれたりっていう機能はつけられたりしますでしょうか。
Yes, so we often are asked for all kinds of different controls or filters. The one that I always like is I'm looking for somebody who's 6 feet tall, who's 10 kilometers away or less, who's vegan, and is between 25 and 26. And what we like to say to people is, look, you have the option always, of course, to swipe right or swipe left. We have seen that very often people, when given more opportunities, they don't maybe know that they would want that. So we think all the time, and we're thinking about, you may see stuff, we're not ready to announce anything today, where there's different ways of controlling the experience. But we often say that the most important thing is to be open-minded. You don't know what you're gonna like until you find it.